The man they'd been calling dad their entire life was in fact not their father. That's almost a third. 1 in 3 kids in the classroom learn that their father was not theirs.
Got a crazy video for you today.
She's not yours, it's just your turn. A woman should be a complement to your life, not the focus.
Do the work.
Women do not care about your struggles. They hang out at the finish line and they pick the winners. What's up, my brothers? In this video, we're going to talk about mommy's little secret. I've been doing some research to finalize a chapter in one of my books on paternity fraud and cuckoldry. And you'd be surprised to learn how little information, how little accurate information anyway, that there is out there. For those of you that are newer to the term and don't know what it is, paternity fraud or cuckoldry has been around for millions of years. It's pretty common in primates. It's very common in human primates as well, sapiens ourselves. And what it essentially is the mother, the woman, will take on the seed, the alpha seed, generally speaking, of another male, and happen to get provisioning resources, for example, from a male that is not the father of the child. Women don't seem to care who the father of the children is in some cases, just as long as somebody can provide, preside, and protect for that child. So that's where the term cuckoldry comes from. I believe it actually comes, if I'm not mistaken, from a specific type of bird called the cuck. Somebody can correct me in the comments, but there's a bird that will basically lay its egg in another bird's nest, and then that bird takes care of those offspring. So back to the human component of it. So I'm trying to get some frame around what kind of rates, accurate rates out there anyway, there are of human cuckoldry. And I had this conversation with Dr. Sean Smith on a Before the Train Wreck a couple weeks ago. If you guys aren't watching the Monday night show, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. It's 8 p.m. every Monday. And we were trying to figure out what the rates were, because we had this guest on that was talking about how he was basically a victim of paternity fraud. This girl got knocked up, was carrying somebody else's baby. Turned out it wasn't his, and we had a long discussion about that. I'll put a card up on the top right. If you haven't watched that episode, it's a crazy ass story. But anyway, so back to this chapter. So I'm digging around, and because paternity fraud or cuckoldry in itself requires deception, I think it's quite hard to get accurate numbers. But here's what I came across. There's a number of different medical communities that have done research on this, and most of them seem to agree on somewhere between 10 to 15%. And this comes from, generally speaking, I think the one main article was one in the Globe and Mail, and I think the title of it was something like Mommy's Little Secret. Interesting title, right? But what ended up happening was they started collecting all this data on these kids that were coming in and that needed genetic testing. There was one that they specifically mentioned that had a lung disease. And for the kid to have that lung disease and for them to accurately diagnose and treat it, they needed to test both the parents to find out the origin of the chromosome. And for that particular lung disease, both parents need to pass down a specific gene for the child to have it. So when they genetically tested both parents, they found out that the man that was acting as the father, the one that she was calling daddy her entire life, was in fact not the father. Now, does the hospital tell the father this? No, they kept it a secret. This is one of the things that Rollo talks about with the sisterhood Uber ally. And, they obviously protect that feminine imperative. So they told the mother only, and her response was, "I'm not surprised." But this sort of thing happens quite a bit, it seems, in the medical community when they have to do genetic testing. And these are really the only times that this information becomes available. Again, this is only going to become available where it is a requirement, usually for things like medical treatment and stuff like that. Otherwise, why would they need to test the child? Why would they need to test the parents? Fathers pretty much automatically assume that it's their kid and they're going to provide, preside, and protect for them. So it's an interesting dynamic that through medical testing that they've revealed somewhere between 10 to 15% of children that are in for, this was at Toronto General Hospital, so Sick Kids Hospital, are not in fact the child of the father. Further down through some of this research, I also learned that there was a classroom assignment in the 70s in England for some students to determine blood type, which required that they had to do some genetic testing on the parents of the kids. And what they revealed, and I'm and I'm guessing they stopped doing this assignment to kids for this very reason. And what they found was 30% of the children in the classroom learned that the father was not their dad. The man they'd been calling dad their entire life was in fact not their father. That's almost a third. 1 in 3 kids in the classroom learned that their father was not theirs. So I think that, you know, this whole cuckoldry paternity fraud thing has an element of seriousness to it. What are the true rates? I don't know. I mean, you know, again, it requires that the mother is deceptive to the man that acts as father to the children. So, I mean, if she slept with a bunch of guys around the time that she gets pregnant, I think that some of them have some idea who the father is. But I think what ends up happening is whoever, you know, is viewed upon by her because of hypergamy, because of alpha seed and beta need, that when it comes to the beta need component, they don't always rely on whoever is, you know, genetically the father. They may in fact rely on the man that they see as better, you know, a better provider to take on that role. So they sell them that role. I don't know whether it happens before, during, or after the marriage. I've had coaching sessions with guys that learned, you know, they were married for a number of years and that some of the kids were not theirs throughout the marriage. It's not the first kid, so it's not like it happened like she got knocked up and had to pick a man. It's like, you know, the first 1 or 2 are his, and then throughout that process she gets knocked up by somebody else and he still takes care of them. So it's you know, it's an unusual dynamic that I think has a lot more implication and reach than what many guys think or even consider. I'll tell you guys, you know, it's been an interesting experience going through the writing of this book and making sure that I'm trying to be as accurate as possible in data when I need to collect it. But I was pretty surprised to learn the 30% number. I mean, that's just one example from a classroom, and the only way that they can average out this information is really by, you know, these instances, you know, these random instances of data points that randomly come up through either, you know, medical emergencies, blood testing, you know, checking blood types and things like that. But most guys really don't do any kind of paternity testing when it comes to their own children. Should guys do it? I think so. You know, I truly believe that if there's any element of suspicion remotely, and even if there isn't, I still think that you should probably paternity test your own child. I know in some places in the world, you know, it's starting to become outlawed, like it's deemed illegal. I'm not really sure why, but well, I have an idea of why. I mean, let's talk about that idea of why. It's probably because it protects the mother, because we do live in a female primary social order. We don't live in a social order that's designed, you know, for fairness and equality, like a lot of us have been sold. So when you start to look at all the, you know, the truth and the true nature of all these dynamics, you start to learn that, you know, wow, like they're actually starting to, in some places in the world, outlaw paternity testing. You can do it with saliva tests. I think you can do it with hair strand tests. I know there's places when there's medical emergencies, they've got to DNA test the parents. But I mean, guys, if I was a dude that found out that their wife or girlfriend was pregnant and she's pointing at you and saying you're the dad, I would definitely verify that, especially with any element of suspicion. Anyway, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of this whole paternity fraud, cuckoldry stuff. Smash the like button. If it's somebody that needs to see this video, you know, share it on social media. It helps me out a ton to get some reach. And if you haven't opted into the email list to get the free chapter on the red flags for the upcoming book, that's pinned in the top comment below. I'll actually put it in a card up here, but after this video ends, there's some interesting links you might want to check out. Anyway, thanks for watching today's video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, brothers, hope you enjoyed that video. Before you go, there's some important links that I want to go over with you. Just beneath the Teespring merch store over here, if you scroll down to the top comment, it's always pinned by me. You can expand by clicking the read more button, and there's a bunch of useful links. I'm going to go over just the 3 main ones with you. The first one is, a lot of guys are often asking me about how do I network with other red-pilled guys? How do I find other guys that I can help level up, that are chasing excellence in life and not women and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's it. That's my men's community. So if you click through to that card up on the top right, you'll get over to entrepreneursandcars.com/community. There's a video there that explains exactly how it all works and what the perks are, and a bunch of useful information beneath that. So check that out. The next link that I want to go over with you is my clarity.fm link. Again, that's also pinned in the top description where it says get one-on-one coaching with me. A lot of you guys send me messages. I'm stuck on this. How do I get out of this problem? I'm going through divorce. What's the solution? My business startup question is this. Well, there's a link over there. You click that, top right of the screen, hit it, and you're going to come through to this page where you can book me for a call. It's billed by the the minute, so we can go as long or as short as you need to. Most people seem to book like a 15-minute call and we'll go 15 to 30 minutes or so. But take a look at all the reviews. Most of the stuff that I help out with tends to revolve around either dating advice or surviving divorce. I also do entrepreneurship coaching as well, men's high performance coach stuff. So check it out. Reviews are all 5-star. I've done a ton of these calls. We're getting close to 400 now. So consider that if you need help with something you're stuck on and you're serious about getting unstuck. The last one is the Grondike Soap Company, which, by the way, gentlemen, is a proud channel sponsor. Scott's been a great supporter of the creation of content on this channel. Most of you don't know this, but many of my videos get demonetized or only run limited ads. So Scott helps out a ton. You're showering anyway, so why not buy handmade soap from a sponsor that supports the creation of my content? When you check out with coupon code Cooper, you'll get 10% off. It is pheromone infused soap. You're going to click this link over here and land on the Grondike page. And they've got some great value packs. Obviously, the more you buy, the deeper the discount. But when you check out, make sure you check out with coupon code Cooper and you'll get that discount at the checkout till. Again, thanks for watching the content today. Make sure you hit subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.